Okay, anyway, now that you've had the preview, to get these off, you're going to need, I'm doing the whole thing, bracket, caliper and all. It's going to be a 17 millimeters what you're going to need. And there's two bolts. There's one here and there's one right on the bottom. You want to loosen those, and this whole entire assembly is coming off. Everything's getting replaced here. Hose, everything the whole way up. That don't look too good, but we'll work on it. I swear by this stuff, and when it doesn't work, I swear at it. It's for rusted nuts, bolts, pipe thread. So if your nuts are rusted, this is what you want to use. I'm going to be able to remove and reuse these brake retaining clips up here. Yeah, that's zoomed all the way out. I saved the old guide pins and everything. Being I just purchased these, I'm going to keep them because you never know when you might need them. Oh, I got hay and corn. Didn't intentionally take this thing mudding, but it ended up that way. I'm going to have to look up the torque specs on it. I think the torque spec on this bolt is just enough. Because if that thing works loose, you're going to know it. And there was no Loctite on it. I put a little bit of PV Blaster in. As rusted as the tip of that is. Came loose. And when you're under here, you might as well check your boots on your CV joints and your tie rod ends. I mean, everything's tight. Struts are getting a little noisy. Sway bar end links are tight. All looks good. Something's starting to rattle. Control arm bushings look alright. I'd have to look closer. This is going to, when you do these bolts, this caliper is going to fall completely off. And as you can tell, the pad is jammed again. So, time to get my BFS, big freaking screwdriver, because it won't release this pad. Just to give you an idea. I don't know what the lifespan of this crap is, but this is the best tool. So I'm just going to pry back on that a little bit and try and release these pads. I mean, I could undo the bolt that's already in there, and I could be careful with these shoes, but this is all getting changed 100%. Boy, that isn't wanting to be very cooperative. So you do this, and usually you don't want to let these hang from the brake line, but I'm going to do it anyway, because that's getting replaced. There's the whole assembly. I'll show you the shoes in depth a little bit later. There's the rotor. Not too bad, but these grooves in here, they're pretty bad. Yep. Junk. So we're going to go ahead and I cracked that loose. It could be luck. Sometimes what I do is I work the fitting back and forth. Helps keep from screwing up the threads and helps loosen it up on the line. The only problem you might run into with these is the opening in the line set, or the line wrench, is only wide enough for the metal. So okay, this is probably going to start dripping fluid here. I keep the rubber plugs from my old wheel cylinders, and I snap them up over the end of the flare on that line. And it helps keep the fluid in it. Now I have my original wheel cylinders, and I did indeed keep the rubber caps. Focus. Or am I zoomed in? I'm zoomed in. Just that little thing, and that'll go boop, right up on there. Which makes it easier because you can go ahead and remove your line. Probably what I should do is try and remove this clip somehow. So I'm in a position. Maybe I can do it like this. Yep. Maybe. There we go. It's moving. We'll turn that around a little bit. There we go. That one was rusted a little bit more. We're gonna, a lot of crud that builds up in here. You want to keep as much of that crap out of the way of this line. Hello. That is not leaking very much. It'll seep a little bit, but that is enough for you to do whatever you need to do. And it's a neat little trick I figured out on my own. There might be a little bit of fluid dripping off of here. Yeah, a little bit, but not much.
Okay, we skipped a few parts. I got the rotor and everything changed. Or, yeah. The rotor, the brake caliper, everything's all back together and presumably not leaking, preferably. Brake hose was hard. The piston on that caliper, I can't even push it in or hammer it in. That little guy right there. These are the pads that came off. Not too bad. A little bit of sarcasm. And these ones also. These are about 4 years on there. Huh. That even came off.